Imagine a world reborn. The scars of time have faded, and the earth breathes anew. Oceans once choked in gray, now shimmer with a pristine sapphire light. Forests, long silenced, hum again with a vibrant chorus of life. And in this renewed world, a new story is about to begin. A new creature walks the earth. Here, in the cradle of life, under the vast blazing sun of Africa, something remarkable is happening. Small, scattered bands of a unique primate begin to rise. They are different. They stand tall, balanced on 2 feet, their hands now free, and in those hands they clutch tools crafted from stone, extensions of their will. Their eyes, unlike any before, are not just looking down at the ground, but are fixed on the horizon, filled with a nascent spark. They are the first to ask the fundamental question, the one that will echo through all of time: what lies beyond? This is not just a physical journey, but a journey of the mind. Fire, once a terrifying force of nature, becomes their ally. They learn to tame it, to harness its warmth and its light. It brings them together, clustering in the flickering dark, sharing food, finding safety. And around these ancient campfires, another powerful tool is forged: language. Grunts and gestures evolve into complex sounds, weaving together the fabric of society. It becomes their weapon against the unknown, a way to share knowledge, to warn of danger, and to plan for the future. Their curiosity, insatiable and relentless, becomes their compass, pointing them towards new lands, new challenges, and new discoveries. Through countless sunrises and sunsets, through seasons of plenty and seasons of want, they learn. The endless cycle of hunt and gather becomes a sophisticated dance with nature. They learn the rhythm of the herds, the secrets of the plants, the whispers of the wind. They are no longer just surviving, they are beginning to thrive. And with this newfound security comes the luxury of something truly human: the ability to dream. They look up at the stardusted night sky, and they don't just see points of light. They see patterns, they see stories, they see gods. They begin to imagine worlds beyond their own, a future different from the present. But the earth is a harsh teacher. The world plunges into the grip of the ice ages. Their resilience is tested to its absolute limit. Mountains that once stood green and lush are now entombed in ice. Oceans recede, revealing new lands, new bridges between continents, but also creating vast, desolate plains. Life becomes a brutal struggle against the biting cold. Yet, humanity does not break. They adapt. They learn to sew skins for warmth, to build sturdier shelters, to follow the great beasts of the Ice Age, the mammoths and the woolly rhinos, across the frozen tundra. Their ingenuity shines brightest in the darkest of times. And in the deep, silent bellies of caves, hidden from the raging blizzards outside, they leave their mark. They mix minerals with animal fat, creating pigments of red, black, and yellow. On the cold, uneven stone walls, they paint the great beasts they hunt, the hands that create, the abstract symbols that hold deep meaning. These are not just pictures. They are messages sent across the millennia. They are stories whispered into the future, a testament to their existence, a declaration: we were here, we lived, we saw. It is the birth of art, the birth of history, the birth of leaving a legacy. And so, from the very dust of this reborn earth, from the crucible of hardship and the spark of discovery, the thinkers are born. This new human is more than just a clever animal. Look into their eyes, and you see something profound. You see the reflection of the universe itself. You see fear. Yes, fear of the dark, of the predator, of the unknown. But you also see a boundless wonder, a deep and abiding curiosity that will propel them across continents and one day to the stars. And most importantly, you see infinite potential, a capacity for creation and destruction, for love and for knowledge that will forever shape the destiny of this planet. The earth, ancient and patient, watches silently. It has seen mountains rise and fall, oceans expand and retreat. It has nurtured countless forms of life, only to see them vanish. But this one is different. This child of Africa, this toolmaker, this storyteller, this dreamer, the planet holds its breath, a silent witness, as its greatest, most unpredictable, and most magnificent creation begins, finally, to awaken. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back to the dawn of humanity. The winds of time, as they say, never rest. For millennia, our ancestors trekked across continents. From the sun-drenched savannas of Africa to the icy valleys of the far north, humankind marched on. Step by step, With fire in hand and dreams in their hearts, they conquered the wild. They faced down beasts, braved the elements, and survived. But they had not yet conquered themselves. Then, something changed. Generations passed, and the world itself began to transform. It grew warmer, glaciers retreated, and life-giving rivers swelled, carving new paths through the land. Vast plains, once barren and cold, turned green with possibility. For the first time in our long history, humans no longer had to wander. They could stay. They found fertile ground, a place to call home. They built the first permanent shelters, not just for a night, but for a lifetime. And most importantly, they planted seeds. Imagine that moment, the simple act of placing a tiny seed into the earth, trusting that it would grow. It was a revolution. And in those seeds, as they sprouted towards the sun, grew the very first whispers of civilization. The age-old story of mere survival was about to become the epic story of creation. People gathered, villages formed, ideas were shared around the hearth fire. New tools were invented, not just for hunting, but for building, for crafting, for creating a future. This wasn't just about finding food anymore. It was about shaping the world. The shift from a life of hunting and gathering to one of farming and settlement laid the foundation for everything we know. Today, our cities, our art, our societies, for countless millennia, we were wanderers, surviving on what the earth offered. But then, something shifted. We stopped just taking, we started creating. This is the story of humanity's next great leap. Picture this: vast, life-giving rivers, the Nile flowing through the desert, the Tigris and Euphrates cradling a fertile crescent, the Indus carving its path through the subcontinent. These weren't just bodies of water, they were lifelines. Along their banks, our ancestors chose to stay. For the first time, they weren't just passing through, they were putting down roots. They learned the rhythm of the seasons, planting seeds in the rich, silty soil, and waiting patiently for the harvest. This simple act of agriculture was a revolution. It meant surplus food, which meant not everyone had to be a hunter or a forager. People could specialize. Small, scattered groups of huts grew into bustling villages, and those villages swelled into the world's first cities. And with cities came a new kind of human experience. People lived together, worked together, and dreamed together. They looked up at the night sky, not just with wonder, but with purpose. The stars became their calendar, guiding when to plant and when to harvest. The sun and moon became powerful deities, and from these celestial observations, incredible stories, complex mythologies, and the first religions were born. This wasn't just a spiritual awakening, it was a physical one. They began to build, not just for shelter, but for eternity. Stone by stone, they raised monuments that still leave us breathless. Today, pyramids reaching for the heavens, ziggurats connecting earth and sky. Each block was a testament to their ambition, a message carved into the very fabric of time, telling future generations we were here. We mattered. As cities flourished, so did connections. Trade routes, like the veins of a great organism, began to weave distant lands together. Ideas, goods, and cultures traveled along these paths, creating a vibrant tapestry of human interaction. But where there is creation, there can also be destruction. The same ingenuity that built cities also forged weapons. War tore communities apart, and great empires rose and fell like the relentless tides of the ocean. Yet through all the chaos, through the rise and fall of dynasties, one thing remained constant: the unyielding human spirit. The will to build something better, the thirst to learn more about the world, and the deep, profound need to remember who we are and where we came from. Think about it. The Earth, which had once birthed oceans and sculpted mountains over geological time, was now giving birth to something entirely new: civilization. And for the very first time in the planet's long history, humanity was no longer just a character in its story. We became its authors. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through time. If you found this fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about our incredible past. See you in the next one.